Good evening. Welcome to our 2021 budget meeting. Done a little bit unconventionally this year. I'd like to start by introducing myself. My name's Craig Hunter. I am on the elder team here, and I also chair the administration team, which handles the budgeting process. I work with a great group of people. Joshua Walker is on that team with me. His wife Erin Walker is on that team. Doug Hassler is our treasurer. We have Nancy Kinsey and Mark Heinzman also on the team supporting the budget process. So we're going to take about 15 minutes this evening and go through the budget process, and then we're going to ask for the members to vote. Nancy will send out a link in her email, and then you'll also be able to find the link on the website under the resource tab on the ballot page. So that being said, we'll get moving. And the first slide we'll talk about is our giving. We talk about, in my business, we talk about top line being sales. In the church industry, the top line is the giving. We had budgeted $305,000 to be gifted to Prairie View this year. We're going to finish this year at a $339,000 clip. What an unbelievable blessing it's been to collect so much more than what we had planned. I can tell you that that number includes two unique gifts that we certainly can't plan for again. So as we put our 2021 proposed giving in there, we took about what we thought we would end up this year minus those two gifts. So we're scheduling 2021 to come in at $321,000 from an offering standpoint. Now, $321,000, how are we going to spend that money? Let's go to staffing. That is our largest expense. When we talk about staffing, most of you know we have two full-time ministers that we pay a salary package and a benefit package to. We also have two part-time folks. We have an administrative assistant, and we have our worship minister. So this year we planned on spending $199,000 to compensate those folks. We're going to come in a little bit over budget at about $200,000. And you might ask, well, gee, don't they know how much they're paying these folks? Well, we do, and we do the math, but there's a variable expense in there, and that's the insurance rates. When we do the budgeting process, we estimate what the insurance is going to go up. And again, we provide a very generous health insurance package for both Ben and Zach. Our budget proposal for 2021 for staffing is to increase that amount to $209,000. Some of that will be salary increases for our full-time ministers, and some of that will be to offset the increased benefit amount for our full-time ministers. So again, both of our full-time ministers receive a performance evaluation at the end of the year, and then the compensation increase, which is tied to that. Second largest expense we have is our building, and I'm excited to say our mortgage balance is down to $431,000. We continue to pick away at that every year. Of course, you can see that on the slide there, we were quite a bit over budget this year on the building, and that really is due to the co-payment that we had from the project with the new roof, the new gutters, and the new siding. We had an insurance claim that covered a great deal of that, but we wanted to do the job correctly, get it done 100%, and decided to pay out of pocket to cover the rest of that. So you'll see also that we're proposing $102,000 for next year. That's when we're going to bite off the next big project for the carpet that we have. We think that's going to be a big deal. You don't have to look around too far before you see stains all over the floor in our main room, in our kids' rooms, and over in our fellowship room. Our ministry team budget will remain just about the same as last year. We're going to underspend this year on that, and again, obviously we're not doing a lot of community outreach this time of year. We're not doing a lot of the ministry work that we would normally do, not doing a lot of the discipleship, the fellowship events that we would normally do. But we do think that that'll change. You know, we'll get to the back half of the next year. The vaccine will be out. People will be back to normal as you get into summer and fall of next year. And of course, I believe we have a big birthday coming up for the church that we hope to have a pretty good celebration next year as well. Missions and benevolence has always been important to Prairie View. It's a big chunk of our budget. In 2020, we predicted $25,500 would be our spend. We're going to come in a little bit underneath that due to our lack of benevolence requests. Our mission spending has been the same as we had planned it to be, but our benevolence spending just hasn't been there. And I want to take just a minute to reach out to all of you. The benevolence money is there if it's needed. So as the members and regular attenders of this church, if you have a need, we want to meet that need. Christmas is coming, higher heat bills are coming, grocery bills are piling up. I don't know everybody's personal situation, but we're here to help. I would encourage any of you who need help or know a fellow congregation member or regular attender that need help to reach out to somebody on that benevolence team. If you're not sure who they are, reach out to Ben or Zach or Mark or Nancy or any one of the elders. But we're going to propose a budget next year again for $25,500. And the intention is to spend that money. I get excited when a budget comes in under budget on certain things. I don't get excited when we come in under budget on missions and benevolence, because that's really, we feel part of our calling is to be able to invest that money. And we really want to do that this coming up year. Moving along, we can move on to the next slide, and we can talk a little bit about administration and operations. That's the non-glamorous stuff, the IT, the equipment rental, pastor education, the internet bills. And we predict that spend will be very similar to what it was last year. Again, we don't know exactly, but it's we're going to propose $16,000, and we think we'll be right there in that ballpark. And then on that next and final slide, it brings you up to the ugly number. Last year, we asked the congregation to approve a deficit spend of $24,200, and through the grace of God and the generosity of our congregation, and some controlled spending based on the current state of our economy and the world out there, we just didn't spend all the money that we had planned on spending this year. And instead of having a deficit of $24,200, we're going to be $2,700 to the good from a budgeting standpoint. So we're going to turn around and ask you to approve a deficit spend again for next year of $42,000. So again, that would have been, had we already lost the $24,000 that we planned on, it would be another $18,000. But we're going to walk away with that after next year, and we'll have brand new roof, brand new siding, brand new gutter, and brand new carpet. And we think then we'll be set up for the next 15 years of ministry. This building is 15 years old. There's a lot of things that have had to been done. There's some of them that were wants, not needs, and we're going to be starting to address those right now. Because I think something worth mentioning is that we do have $298,000 in cash reserve, so that when we do talk about a deficit spending, at the end of next year, if that deficit truly is the $42,000 that we think it might be, we're still going to have over $250,000 in the bank. We're still going to be very financially sound. Still going to be very, very excited about doing ministry here at the corner of 141st and Allisonville. But we'll have a lot of those needs taken care of to help get us set for the next 15 years of ministry. I did want to talk a little bit about how we collect this money. And again, it's a lot of money for a small congregation. We're asking for $321,000. In the retail world, we have a rule called the 80-20 rule, where 20% of the products come up with 80% of the sales. It's very similar to the way the giving works here. About 80% of the offering comes from 20% of the families, and it's no secret that a lot of those folks are getting a little bit older. There's a lot of whispering about retirement. There's a lot of whispering about people moving to being closer to grandparents. There's a lot of whispering about career changes and different things that could happen with our core givers that have been part of this congregation for 15, 20, 25 years. So as a reminder and as an appeal to everybody, there's going to be some changes that are made, over the course of the next few years. Elders will move along, and we'll work on developing some younger guys to come and take over. Many of the mainstay members of the church maybe will be living in Florida for 6 months out of the year. So just an appeal to everybody. As a member of this church, you've signed a covenant saying that you were going to support us financially. And that's why we want to have this open book. We want to tell you, we need $321,000 to do ministry here next year. We've got about 40 to 45 families. Most of us can all do the arithmetic and figure out what that need is then, and for us to be able to do the ministry successfully here. So what a blessing it has been this year to come out of it the way we are. We're going to be good stewards of the good fortune that we have had and the blessing that we have had this year. We're going to invest that in the building, and we're going to invest that in our pastors, and we're going to invest that in missions and benevolence, and just be excited about what ministry has to offer in 2021 here at Prairie View. So again, we're going to ask all of our members to vote. The link will be available through an email from Nancy. It'll also be available on our website under the resource tab on the ballot page. So I appreciate you taking a few minutes of time to listen to me this evening. And as always, we're going to be available for questions at any time. Speak to any one of the elders, speak to any one of the staff, speak to any one of the administration team, and we're happy to answer your questions. The ballot will only be open for 2 weeks, and again, you'll have access to that on Sunday morning and then for 2 weeks. So we appreciate your support. God bless you, and have a great evening.